28. Here comes the Casper. Boy, careful with that coffee, Casper. We're waiting to see. We're getting up online here. Should be coming on in a second. We're looking forward to seeing you this morning. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. Here we go. We're looking for the live image to come on in. Come on in, live image. There we go. Coffee with Casper is happening live. There we go. We got it live. Nice to see you. Good morning from Boise, the Knolls, both of you. Greetings, greetings. Good to see you this morning. Here we are in a big episode. More than a year. Your video, Coffee with Casper. We're in from North Carolina. Good to see you this morning. Boise and North Carolina and Woodland Hills. All right. Here in SoCal. We're glad to see you this morning. Coffee with Casper. Here's the coffee. Here's the Casper. And we're about to go. Here's the Casper. Wants to come up again to say hello. And here's Mountain down here. Oh, can you see Mountain? Oh, Casper, you're so big boy. You're down and out Mountain. There's Mountain down there. Good to see you this morning from Las Vegas. Good morning. We're glad you're here. This is a 1-year anniversary here today. Well, something like it. We've been 52 episodes or more since this big divine idea happened. Here comes 8:30. We're going to gong ourselves in, and we welcome you from wherever you are on the planet. If you're on Facebook, let me know where you are so I can say good morning to you. We're glad you're here. All right, everybody, let's get ready to take this big breath here. We're going to gong ourselves in. Allowing a big, nice breath to come in. Let that breath rise up into your heart center. And relax the shoulders. And just give yourself permission for this 20 minutes that we're going to spend together. Seeing about what we might see, what might be beneficial, what might be helpful. The idea of this Coffee with Casper happened because obviously when I had the puppy, when he was just a pup, I would come out in the morning with him and have my coffee while he was outside. And then the pandemic started to happen and I was still doing that. And then I realized how frightened people were and how confusing the time was as we entered into a complete shutdown, something we'd never seen in our lifetime before. We saw it in 9/11 for a day or two or three, but nothing like we had experienced in the pandemic. And in a world that's now connected by milliseconds, something that happens on the other side of the planet, we're aware of it within minutes, and computers are aware of it within seconds. The world is coming into a unity consciousness. This meaning our world, the earth world, humanity's world, is coming into a unity consciousness from eons of duality and separation, believing that I got to get mine before you get yours or there won't be enough, and this whole idea of competition, of not enoughness, of no way to do it except to struggle and to get ahead and to suffer and to take your chances and maybe win and maybe lose. And humanity invented a lot of things about life that is not exactly true. Welcome from Arizona this morning. Good morning from North Carolina. Calling in from Las Vegas. You're having a Vegas visit from North Carolina. Good for you. Hope you're having a good time. So, all of this miscreation has been going on by a belief that you and I are separate, that the life force within us is somehow separated from the life force within somebody else. And what we recognize is all around the globe, in every culture, in every continent, in every kind of people, in every diversified expression of humanity, the life force that's within each individual is exactly the same life force. The gift that has been given of that life force has been given completely and equally to everybody. And from there, it works through consciousness. That which we think about tends to come about. Where our attention goes, our energy flows. This is the nature of creation. It's also the law of consciousness, or the law of the circle. Whatever it is that I'm putting out is coming back to me multiplied. And so today we just wanted to take this opportunity. We started Coffee with Casper believing that there were some souls who could benefit from our gathering together and sharing ideas about the metaphysical reality of the human experience. Meaning that there is a physical reality to humanness. We are incarnate, we have flesh, we are attached to bones, and we have this life force which functions in us through this system called intention, which is the body's intention to always return to wholeness. That's the definition, one of the second definitions of the word intention. And so there's an intention already planted within human beings that life can be easy, that life can be a blessing, and yet we have dragged from the past this belief in it has to be tough, and I have to pay my dues, and I have to be punished if I sin, and all this idea of carrying this negative karma with us, and we just invented all kinds of ways to make life difficult, as opposed to finding the metaphysical, that which is behind that which causes creation to happen. This is not a physical universe, it's a metaphysical universe, born of spirit, soul, and body. You and I have spirit, soul, and body. And the I am presence, that soul nature of ourselves, is our eternal and immortal nature. And that eternal and immortal nature belongs to all people. Now, what we do with it is dependent on what we're doing with it, right? Where we're putting our attention, where our energy is going, what our mantra is. So I'll tell you a story. The story is, again, of a great guru who lived in the mountains in a cave for many, many years. And he meditated and dwelled on the nature of his own being, on the nature of suchness, of beingness, of I amness. And he became well known as this remarkable guru who lived in the cave. And one day the remarkable guru gets his intuition, this I am presence that we all have, that we're learning to listen to this voice of intuition, what the psalmist called the still small voice, which is this aspect of ourselves that's known us from the time we were born, even before the time we were born. It knows everything about us because it is our true and eternal nature, this I am that I am, the soul that I am, this forever beingness established as me. And that of course, is for everybody, this forever beingness that is established by you. Now, do you imagine that an intelligent creation itself is intelligence? And can you imagine that which is source or substance or energy itself in its initiation would create eternal reality that was built on suffering? That would not be intelligent, and that's not what actually happens. We are born free and able to discover who and what we really are. Everyone is born with the capacity to create a consciousness that goes before us and makes the way clear. So anyway, here this great guru finally gets an intuitive call from his divine self that he needs to go down to Mumbai and be among the people and start helping the people. And so he goes to Mumbai, but since his spirituality, his knowingness was already known, that the people, when they heard he was coming, began to create sort of like a Palm Sunday thing. They went to greet the great guru, they threw roses, petals down on the ground, and they brought him into the tuk-tuk, and they wanted to show him all around Mumbai. And of course, in India, the middle class is about a quarter of the country. And the rest of the country is either very small percentages very wealthy, and most of the country is impoverished. And so the presence of the middle class and the poverty is everywhere. From when I was there, for example, in a very beautiful hotel, right at the bottom of the driveway of the hotel, there are encampments and people living off the water that's flowing in the little creeks and little huts and so on. It's everywhere. You can't not see it. So finally, the tour guides who are showing the great guru all of the parts of the city, and they're standing on the steps of a great palace, and they're looking out over the city. And one of the tour guides says to the guru, he says, "Have you ever seen this kind of poverty before?" And the guru shook his head. He said, "No, I've never seen this kind of poverty." And they said, "Well, what do you think of this poverty that is everywhere present?" The guru looks out over Mumbai from the steps of this castle he was visiting. He turns back to the host and he says, "Wrong mantra." Now, a mantra is a meditative term. It's the word or phrase that we repeat on a regular basis in order to get into a state of meditation where we basically quiet the mind. And as you've heard me talk about before, it's basically like this oversoul that we have. All of us have this soul nature, this oversoul. And what we do is we relax the mind so that we can be embraced by the oversoul and therefore receive input that is more than just the spinning of our rational and conscious mind. So, as a meditation teacher, as I've told you before, as a meditation practitioner, as I've told you before, I have been meditating for many, many, many years on a daily basis, and I changed the mantra from the one that I was originally given, which was a Hindu word or phrase, to I am. And the reason that is because when we realize that we're spiritual beings, we realize that what I am is greater than my mind, my body, and my experience. That what I am is greater than my mind, my body, and my experience. Because I'm a spiritual being with an immortal soul, and what I am is a spiritual being with an immortal soul who's having mind, body, and experience, right? So the mantra that I use is I am, and I place it right here. I close my eyes, I place the mantra right here. And the mantra is not the meditation, it's the path into the meditation. As our friend Deepak Chopra says, it's not the thought or the mantra, it's the gap between the thought and the mantra that becomes the meditation. That becomes where the small mind can be still and absorb from the larger mind, right? And we can only absorb as much as our consciousness will allow. Meaning, what are we thinking about? What are we constantly repeating to ourselves that is the mantra? And so I want to remind you on this, the anniversary of Coffee with Casper, that the intention of our gathering here was to create 20 minutes where we could just look at the metaphysical reality, take a breath, and not be so concerned or overwhelmed by the struggles in the world. And as we see, even though they morph, we're no longer searching for a vaccine. We're searching to get critical mass in the vaccine, to put the virus behind us, and we're opening and we're closing and we're making progress, and we're going one step forward and two steps back, and all of this is happening in the physical world. And yet, as we, the light workers, and this show is designed for light workers, and I remind you that the only thing that we ask you to do is share the information about Coffee with Casper. Share the link, share newthought.com, share where you can find it, share it on LinkedIn, share it wherever, whatever networks you're involved in, whatever groups you are in case there's something beneficial for other souls. What we know is we have our friend in Sri Lanka who's been watching, we have friends in Norway, we have friends in England, and of course, as we see already across the States. Welcome there, young Mr. Bell. Good to see you this morning. Hi from Oregon, Sherry and Mike. Nice to see you this morning. The mantra that we're working with needs to be one that simplifies and does not empower these old ideas of the need for suffering and the idea that we're separate and the idea that we don't have the capacity to create antibodies in our system or to create health so that the autoimmune system is doing that, just that. It's keeping us immune from disease and virus and so forth. Where we're putting our attention makes a big difference. And these miscreations of humanity built on suffering and war and separation are simply no longer relevant. And we need to move in, as is happening, but slowly, we need to move into a unity consciousness where all people are honored for the divinity as the self that is the same self that is me. Yes? So the mantra that I really recommend, and what I want to talk about just in these last few minutes today, is I choose to comfortably live my life and fulfill my purpose. I choose to comfortably live my life and fulfill my purpose. Meaning, to fulfill my purpose in struggle and strain and grief and fear and doubt is not the best way to fulfill purpose. And that's not the way a universe born in harmony and love has intended. Right? We are born 100% capable of creating a heaven in earth, in us, as us, through our awareness. And there is no other path to do that. And while humanity will become, as a mass, more awakened even as we move forward in the next decade, I would not be waiting for humanity to clear up my consciousness, to have a mantra that says, I deserve my good. Good and more good is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel this good. It crowds itself against me. It flows through me. It multiplies itself around me. This is your right. But you have to establish the consciousness by means of where your attention is and how you are functioning through every moment of this day, which, as the psalmist said, this is the day the Lord has made. That is the law of life, has given this day unto you to clear your consciousness, to begin anew, to be resurrected, to be reborn, to be recreated in this idea that you can comfortably live your life and fulfill your purpose. Each one of us has the capacity to do that. And then you get into that, oh my God, and then people say, oh, fulfill my purpose, and the next thing I hear is, I don't even know what my purpose is. Well, many of us are not conscious of our purpose because transformation doesn't announce itself. You will be fulfilling your purpose when one day you notice, I seem to be doing something that has meaning, and it has meaning to my soul, and it's being a beneficial presence to other souls. Aha! Human being, not human doing. So I would recommend this week that we just separate from all of the big goals that we have, all of the need to jump into the opportunity to claim this time of chaos, to rise up and become healthy and wealthy and wise. I would say you can be healthy, wealthy, and wise according to your own consciousness by simply deciding that you choose to be a beneficial presence. And to know that if you are breathing and if you are establishing a consciousness of goodwill toward yourself and others, that presence is making a difference. That without having to do anything other than breathe and establish your own consciousness, meaning what are you clearly intending to be, right? That you can just decide that my being and being a beneficial presence and a beneficial person to those in my experience is enough. And that will lead to my fulfillment. Simply choosing to be the very best you can be, without strain, without struggle, honoring your body, honoring your breath, honoring the day that has come to you, honoring your freedom to think as you choose to think and to put your attention where you choose to put it. And making a decision to put your attention on that which is life-giving and life-enhancing, and that which brings joy and comfort and peace and poise and love and grace into the world. You, the I am that you are, can be an instrument of the divine flow of energies in all that is your experience, and therefore for your own benefit and the benefit of everybody who enters into your experience. I choose to comfortably live my life and fulfill my purpose. And if I can be a beneficial presence in anyone's life, then I can be enough. I am enough just by being a presence. And then you might want to color it in with what are your passions and what are your joys and how can you create more of that, and how can you step forward with your gifts in a way that contributes to your well-being and the well-being of others. Those are all natural flows that will come out of accepting that you are enough just the way you are, and by your attitude and intention to be a beneficial presence in the world, to be a beneficial presence to everybody who touches the arena of your experience. And doing that is enough. That will cause you to be listening to that inner voice, to this I am that I am, to be the one who chooses to follow it, to do what it says, because it's guiding you always into the higher levels of your own comfort, joy, and purpose. Your own soul, the gift already given, is already always with you, always guiding you, and always wishing you the highest level of good. Now you have to align your personal consciousness, your intention, and your beingness with that goal. Today I am enough. Today I will bring benefit into the world. Today I will notice the beauty that's all around me and celebrate it. Today I will walk in gratitude. Today is the day the Lord has made, and I am rejoicing and being glad in it. And I'm enough just doing that. And the more I do that, the more your own consciousness will go before you and clear the way and open the doors to the synchronicities, to the opportunities, and to the all good that is your divine birthright. It's been my joy and honor to be with you in this morning, as it is every morning. We'll be back next Tuesday with 8:30 Pacific time with Coffee with Casper. We invite you to share this video, to take your breath, to celebrate your purpose being fulfilled, and to be an avenue through which easily and gracefully and simply you choose to be a beneficial presence in the world. Who you are is something wonderful. And until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. We celebrate your new mantra of ease and grace and success and well-being beginning right now. We'll see you next week on Coffee with Casper.